Ian.
Yes.
We talked about the Tom Brady rookie card being traded for the graded NWC.
We sure did.
And how the value wasn't necessarily whatever the Brady card was worth, 150,000, what have you. Apparently, people that own NWC cards didn't take that message to heart, because after that, in the course of right now, there are 3 gray NWCs on eBay right now. 3. This has happened before, but never like this quickly, and obviously because of a story like this. 3. There's a WADA graded 7.0 at 150,000 for best offer. There is a WADA graded 6.0 grading at 125,000 or best offer. That's the good value there.
Yeah.
Or there's a non-graded one. Have I seen this one in person? It's number 328.
The third one
with the bottom chunk taken out of the casing, and that's at 125,000. Or you make an offer on it. So obviously people want to capitalize. They want to make their money on this. They got their WADA graded games. They see a trade being made, which to me becomes more and more suspect the more I think about these sort of things happening. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but why still, when the cash value is so out of whack?
Did anyone else out there have a take on it as to why that might have happened?
I don't know. I got to talk to our buddy Sean at Reserve Investments about that to see what's going on with that. But that's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, especially when we talked about one literally auctioned for 26.
What he thinks of that
is going on, unless that person maybe owns 3 of the Brady and says, "Screw it, I want an NWC as an investment,"
and just doesn't care,
which could be a thing too. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll take the loss because it'd be hard to move 3. And speaking of that,
I forget that a lot of these people don't have just one of these.
No,
things.
they gather them up when they're first released.
Yeah.
Or yes, that's how all these markets work. People own multiple of the same vintage comic book, and that market's changing too, which is interesting. So. What I'm going to say is that this happens with other collectibles, but it works against these sellers' interests to put these up at the same time. Because when you see 3 of them for sale at the same time, at least in my mind, it makes it seem like, well, maybe these aren't as valuable, because a lot of people equate value with rarity or availability, which you shouldn't, but people still do that. And so it's thinking, well, maybe there's more out there than you think, or I can always get one, so why would I buy it now? Why can't I just wait? And so these sellers aren't doing themselves favors by doing this. There's ways to sell these games without publicly listing them. You can let people know they're available. And I can't imagine any person with a head on their shoulders go on eBay that wants an NWC cart that's graded or ungraded, seeing 3 of them, all 3 at an insane over markup versus the most expensive NWC graded might have been the 26,000 one. That actually sold for cash. I'm trying to think if one went for 30,000. I might have heard rumors, but I'm not positive that one went for 30. But we'll just say 26 to 30. Then all of a sudden paying $100,000 more for one, when there's no sales data tracking to establish that as the new market value. Right. That's what these sellers are trying to make happen. But I think it's just foolhardy, because it's like with what happened with the black box games, and all these sellers that with no knowledge of it started buying up every non-sealed sticker seal black box game, thinking they were hard to find when they're not, and overspending on them. And now when you look on eBay now, let's just put black box duck hunt and see what people are trying to get for it right now, for a sticker seal. Black box duck sticker. I'll just put in. People are trying to get 160, 200 for it, 900, 450, 500. Yes. So what happens is, people went out at conventions or started buying them up. So that everyone that had it realized, oh my God, I could sell into this market. But then you realize by putting them out there, there's a lot more of them than you think. And I said that last year. It's
right.
Like, there's a lot of these sticker sealed black box games out there. I've got at least 2 or 3 of the duck hunts, and I got the minty ones up there in that box, and in that test market box. But they sold a decent amount of these. These aren't that scarce that you can say they're $500 each and then establish a new market. So anyway, what do you think, Ian? What's your take on this?
I just think it's a bad idea. It's a bad way. It's a very easy way to take any sort of bump in value that this may have gotten accidentally from that trade. I think this is a good way to make sure that it goes away completely.
It dumps water on sort of the whatever fire.
Yes.
By doing that, unless I'm not saying it happened, unless there's maybe collusion between one of the sellers and something, and they said, I'm going to list this, and maybe someone will pay 150. You don't know, but we do know that people know each other, people talk, people know what's going on. So I wouldn't put it past it for something like that to have happened, where it's like, hey, we'll do this trade because my buddy, has the cart, he's going to list it at that much. Maybe you can get, who knows? I'm just bullshitting about it. But like I said, the point is now those type of people are in this market, and they weren't 2 years ago with the money and the means to make these things happen. It's a different world, Ian.
Sure enough.
You ever watched Different World? I watched the first season with Lisa Bonet.
No.
And then she left.
Never
and I was heartbroken.
Never watched.
I love Lisa Bonet.
Lovely lady.
She was just on a Jason Momoa commercial. Oh, Super Bowl commercial. The other one, Jason Momoa comes home and he takes off his arms, basically, and he's like a skinny guy.
Oh.
He takes off his hair. He has like a bald spot, and it's the funniest fucking thing ever.
Nice.
I can picture women around the world going, "No, you're ruining it for us." It was funny. So he had like platform boots like that. So he basically transforms into like a skinny regular guy. And at the end of the commercial, Lisa Bonet is helping him bench, and he literally can't bench like 10 pounds. And he's like, "It's so heavy." You didn't see that commercial?
No, I didn't see many of them.
That was a clever one too. That was the other clever one.
For
Rocket Mortgage, I believe, somehow.
The one that Rocket Mortgage was advertising everywhere.
Sure.
They've been all over Twitter. The only commercial that I really remember seeing that I liked was I saw the Lil Nas X and Sam Elliott one for Doritos.
That was funny.
That was cute.
Oh, back to the NWC cart. Yes. Anyway, yes. That I'll just end on this. Is that be ever vigilant out there when you see the news happening, because now you have people with lots of money. You have millionaires in this game now, potentially.
Yep.
That can to them, you and I are nothing, and they don't care if they manipulate these markets because they're going to make a buck. So just stay out of the way. Don't invest. Never invest in video games. The same exact advice I always had. Never invest in video games. It's not something you invest in. You don't invest in collectibles unless you're extremely careful, I believe. Extremely careful. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.